right. Hello there, beautiful people. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Rose Shiwever. I'm a YouTuber living currently in China, and today I am here to talk about destabilizing toxic beliefs in my system, or I'm simply sharing some of the toxic beliefs or limiting beliefs that I know of that are sticking in my subconscious, and I'm trying to break them down. But these are the toxic beliefs that I don't know how they came to me, how they found me, how I welcomed them in my system, but these are some of those toxic beliefs. And these toxic beliefs are actually limiting beliefs that people say to you, and you internalize them and you start putting them into your head. Some of these toxic beliefs will relate with you depending on which type of environment you grew up on, depending on what type of things that people say, like depending on things like around you, your environment. Your environment is the first place that creates toxic beliefs in you. And toxic beliefs have been enforced in us throughout our lives. For example, a toxic or a limiting belief can be like, you cannot sing. Someone's hear your song, like let's say you're a musician, right? And someone listen to your song, or your fans are listening to your songs, but you start feeling like your fans are giving you like, it sounds good but not so good. So you start emulating and starting telling yourself, oh, this is not good, I'm not a good singer. And those are limiting beliefs. Those are things that will stop you from becoming even a better singer or a greater singer. The limiting beliefs, sometimes they can come from people around you. For example, I know in Africa, and I'm an African. I'm not in Africa right now, but I know that Africans, we can be toxic sometimes. And that's just the truth. And I don't think it's only Africans. Even like in China where I am, there are things that just society tells people to do, but I feel like toxic in Africa is more than toxic in China. But China has its own, but today we're not dealing with China. I am an African. I'm going to talk about from my background of being an African woman. Like, for example, I remember 2 years ago, one of my friends had a baby, and she was telling me like, when are you getting the baby? You're getting young. That's a toxic thing. Do you know? Because you're not going to give me a baby. You're not going to put the sperm in my body. You're not going to give me money to feed the baby. So that's so toxic. You get what I'm saying? But that's beside the point. I'm not coming for people who say these things. Sometimes these people say these things because of their own insecurities. And sometimes people just say things without knowing that it will actually stay in your mind. For example, let me give you guys one limiting belief. In my past, I was told so much like, that girl is so loud, that girl is so loud, that girl is so much, is too much. And that set in my subconscious like, I am too much, I am a problem, my loudness is a problem. Do you get? That's a limiting belief, because now me being around people, I'll be conscious to be like, am I too much, am I loud? And I try to tone it down, because I'm not trying to please, but I'm also trying to be, I don't want to be a problem. So this is a limiting belief. And I would start edging by, especially parents, what you say to your children is really important, because those are the things that your children will be narrating in therapy. You get? So limiting beliefs come to us, I think, a lot from our environment. And sometimes we can, I do feel like limiting beliefs also stem, or they grow into our spirit when we now start thinking about what is happening around you. Limiting beliefs can also come just by societal acts. Like, people's actions can even ignite limiting beliefs in you, because sometimes it's not even the words that people are saying, but it's actually the actions. You get? It's the actions. For example, let me give a context. In an African context, especially from Namibia where I come from, if we go to a wedding, people with husbands and people with children are more like, they're more treated like in a special way compared to maybe a 30-year-old person or a 40-year-old person without a child, without a husband. That person will be like not respected the same way as the person who is married. But why? At the end of the day, these two people are, let's say it's a 40-year-old lady who is married with a child, and a 40-year-old lady without a child, maybe even worse, without a job. This 40-year-old woman, she's the one who's going to be running in this wedding, carrying water baskets, cooking on the fire, spinning things like nobody's business. But this 40-year-old lady with a husband and a child, she will be given a special tent or a special shack somewhere and be given cold water and be treated some special type of way. These are the things that I've witnessed when I was young, and I hate it. Especially those elder cousins that they wanted to treat children just like, those are all limiting beliefs, because these acts actually teach people that they are not important because of certain things that they don't know. That wedding scenario of this 40-year-old lady going to carry water and all these type of things. I mean, why are we not respecting everyone? Like, why are we not giving the same respect to all the human beings despite of what we have? Because now it seems like now we are all being put on a scale on according to what you have. We are no more human beings first. First, they are asking you, do you have a plot of land? No. Do you have a husband? No. Do you have this? No. And then these are going to limit people's beliefs, because it's giving this 40-year-old lady that she's not important, and that's a limiting belief. If it's a limiting belief, that means it will hinder her security, her sense of security, and also hinder the progress, because this person will start dealing with and believing that, oh, I'm not important because of this and this and this. And that's just a scenario I wanted to give. So before I go into the toxic or limiting beliefs that I am aware and currently working on not currently working, but I'm just highlighting these are limiting beliefs. I would love to urge everyone out there, when you're around people, don't just be sprawling words without you thinking. And even though sometimes we are all insecure and these things are really coming from who we are, it's not about the person who is even on the receiving end, it's about who we are. But let's just be happy human beings. Let us just try to encourage growth. Let's try to encourage growth mindset instead of fixed mindset, because at the end of the day, we're all human beings, and let us inspire human nature to grow despite whatever is happening around. So some of the limiting beliefs that I know for sure are, for example, if you study so much, if you are this woman who gets a master program and a PhD program, that there's a limiting belief that says that an educated woman cannot be married. And this is one thing I was talking with a therapist one time. I was telling her, like, I have this limiting belief. I believe I'm always fighting that if I get the PhD, if I get this, I will not get married. But she was like, give me an example of a woman that you feel like she has it all and you are aspiring to be like her. And then I gave her an example of Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama is educated. I don't know whether she has a PhD. I'm sure she has a PhD. But she has a husband. She has children. I mean, you can get it. And these are the limiting beliefs that you as a young woman or as a person needs to discard, because if you believe these things, they will limit you, literally block you from getting whatever you aspire to get. And another limiting belief is, if you don't have money, all of the sudden, you are not important. Remember the 40-year-old scenario that I was giving you, especially in African weddings, whereby people with cars are now respected. Hey, I was stubborn in my heart. I could not express. But now if I go to the village back in Africa, I'll tell them, like, let's all just carry the water buckets. Or now people with money should put the water taps in our houses so that we are all not carrying water on our heads. But yeah, limiting beliefs in society is like, if you don't have money, you're not worth it. But no, in real life, you can have all the money, but you're still human. You're still gonna go to the toilet like everyone else. You're still gonna have 24 hours in a day. You're no more human because of what you have. But if you are finding yourself in a place whereby maybe you don't have enough resources and you start feeling like, oh, I don't have enough. And maybe that's a limiting belief for you because it's now just hindering on the sense of self-worth. Just discard it because it's not true. It's not true. It's just your subconscious and mind playing tricks on you. Okay, another limiting belief is all of the sudden, people who are not married are not that important. I said what I said. All of the sudden, people who are not married are not that important. Yeah, I've seen. Hey, yeah. This one is difficult. It's difficult. But let me talk about it. Yeah, in society, I'm seeing now that as we grow older, ladies with husbands and all that are more like hey. And then us who were here in the background, we are like, You get? But this is not even about what people are saying. This is about people's actions. And I feel at the end of the day, like these are all things that it can happen to you, it cannot happen to you, and we should all be fine with it. Because honestly, you can be just as human as everyone else who is mated or not mated. You get? And we should just discard of all these things. Of all of the sudden, everyone should get married. All of the sudden, everyone should find a partner. And these are the things that are even pushing people to go into marriages that they don't want, because the society is trying to tell people that if you're not married, you're not important, which is not the truth. But we need to discard it in our heads, because these are the things that we are seeing around, and environment just becomes toxic. Wow. What conversations that girls have. Me, I'm very even happy that in one day I can go to bed without talking to any African girl, especially African people. No. Hey, especially no. Sometimes environments are so toxic. I can only imagine a young girl like me back home, and really maybe around a lot of people who are married, a lot of people who have children, and there are a lot of people who just come in like, when are you getting married? When are you getting the child? When are you getting one? These are all things that now you are engineering in the mind of the person that she's not important because she doesn't have this and that and that. And guys, honestly, these things are of the 1990 somethings. It's a new century. It's 21st century. And these are the things of the 19th centuries. Guys, it's a new era. Allow people who are not married just to get there, just as much as you've gotten there. Don't now push people to be like, now we are waiting for you. Now we are waiting for you. You get? Because we are all once single. You get what I'm saying? And this is really one thing. I think it's really challenging, especially for maybe ladies, but even for guys, it can be a limiting belief, because people are just now rushing to get into this thing. And it's because society is actually highlighting that you're not worth it if you're not married, which is not true. Okay, another thing is, it's about even single, at least even people who are in relationships, then people who are not in relationships, they're even just being seen like they're better off. But I don't want this video to come off as problematic and trying to address who is in a relationship or not in a relationship. But honestly, in society today, these things are pertaining, especially when you get older. They're just part of the things that now is part of the discussion. Can we talk about how we can get money or get educated or live into better places or change our countries? Those are all topics that you can find to talk about. You get? So these limiting beliefs, oh my God. Okay, what is another toxic or limiting belief that I am dealing with? I feel some of the limiting beliefs that I am I'm living myself, some of them come from a place whereby, for example, what have you studied? You have studied engineer. Oh, a person who have studied medicine is more, oh yeah, because our parents told us like you either become a medical doctor, you either become a lawyer, you either become this. But at the end of the day, you can become anything that you want to be, as long as you're not going to be running around people's pockets asking for food and everything. Like, as long as you're going to go to bed fed by your own hard-earned money, you are fine. But now it turns out that the limiting belief here is to say some certain careers are better than some. And these are not things that I'm just not making it up. These are not things that I'm just making up, but it's actually the truth. Even people ran or rushed to study medicine or other things. Even people run to other countries to study all these courses, because all of a sudden certain careers are more important. But I do feel like all careers are just important, and those are the things that you can deal with as a human being and unlearn. Don't put your limiting beliefs, they just limit you to really thrive as a human being. And don't put your sense of self-worth in those things that society is trying to say, like you should get this, you should get that, you should be that, you should not. No. And other limiting beliefs can be about our bodies. If you have a bigger bum, all of a sudden you are more important. If you have a flat stomach, all of a sudden you are more important. If you are light skinned and fur like me, all of a sudden you are more important. And limiting beliefs like, oh no, a black person is not important. Or, you get what I'm saying? So I'm just trying to say that these things are not good and they're toxic for all of us. So let's engage in better conversations. And whatever you say to other people, you should always be kind enough to think, like, just hope. I know we're all not going to be perfect. We are all not going to think the same. But I hope that this video helps society to become a better place. And let me know in the comment section, what are some of the limiting beliefs that you feel your community or society is pushing forward, or what are those narratives that you feel that they need to be discarded. I hope that we can have a conversation in the chatting comment section. All right, until my next video, stay humble, stay positive, and work hard towards your goals. And bye.